This is the pattern that I'm going to be making. Putting in my 2 weeks. I'm not going back and changing it. I made a pretty big mistake. I'm going to have to weave in all of these ends, which is going to be super fun. I got a new tattoo. Hello everyone. I decided that I'm going to make another sweater. I did finish my third sweater about a week and a half ago. It was the roomy raglan. I didn't record like any of it. Here's the results of it. I think it turned out really, really good. Blocking was super important with it. I was kind of playing some yarn chicken with it. And so the sleeves were really short, but I stretched them out with blocking and it was just fine. This is the pattern that I'm going to be making. It is the Mary Maxim like duck sweater. I don't actually know the pattern name. Number 407. My kind of goal with knitting is that I want to make cool stuff, and this is cool stuff. It's kind of just like those old like retro sweaters that you find at vintage shops that they charge a crazy amount for. I do want to interject and mention that this style of cardigan originated in the Coast Salish of the First Nations in Canada. It is called the Cowichan cardigan, and they're the ones that came up with this design and put their traditional woven designs into the cardigan. So it is based off of their designs, which have then been taken by brands and that sort of thing. So I did just want to mention that since I learned about this after I had made the cardigan. I put a link in the description that has a really good website that tells you more about the history behind this cardigan. It's super cool, and I just needed to mention that it is not Mary Maxim's idea to have this design. This is a Cowichan cardigan. I looked this pattern up in Ravelry, and there's 2 people that have done it. One person, it was literally just like, hey, I did it, and there's a photo, like one photo of it. And then the other one is somebody that actually made it, but they're using very different yarn than what I'm going to use, so kind of just winging it. Vintage pattern is very scary to me, but let me show you the yarn that I got. I ordered from Rito, and this is a hefty order. So all of the yarn that I got is drops Alaska and drops alpaca silk. The colors are 2 and 1 for the base color, and then I have a green for the grass and then the head of the duck. This is that. Color is 51 and then 32, and the third color is this brown color that is color 70 and 38. So these are the colors that I'm using. The white is the base color, green is for the head and for the grass, and then brown will be for the body of the ducks, and then the like hot dog looking part of the cattails. So I think these colors look really nice. So we'll see how they all play together. I ordered more than I think I'm gonna need because it took 2 weeks to get this order, so I don't want to have to wait another 2 weeks if I run out. We'll find out. I did make a little gauge swatch, just a little guy, because that's what the pattern called for, is 2 inches by 2 inches, and that's what this is. So I think this measured correctly. What's really confusing is in the directions. It says for the American size, use size 9, but if you're metric, use size 6. And a size 6 in like 6 millimeters is 9.5 in American. I'm just going to go with the metric one because I think that makes most sense, and that's what I did, and that's what I used for the gauge swatch, which worked out for me. This will be the first pattern that I'm holding 2 yarns together, sewing in a zipper, and then I have to seam on the front panels, the back panels, and then the arms. So there's going to be a lot of firsts with this one. But I think it's really cool and unique, and that's what I want on my closet. So that's what we're going to do. Full confession, I did already start. I'm starting with the back panel because that seems to be the most exciting to me. This is the ribbing. So the ribbing is all done, and I'll start the colorwork chart soon after. I'm going to try and not let this project consume me because I just get so excited about every knit project that I'm working on that that's all I want to do. But I have a paint, like folk art collection that I want to release. So I need to work on that. And then also just do general chores around the house, and cook and like keep myself fed. So we need to do all that too. But I'm very excited on how this is going to go. A little nervous. Hopefully the internet is going to be helpful for it. I think it's going to be sick. This is where we're at so far. Whoa. This is where we're at so far. I did start doing the brown part of the cattail just a little bit, which working 3 colors at once is kind of crazy. There's also multiple ways to do color work on this thing, so it's kind of crazy. And I think I'm doing it right. I don't know if there's going to be holes. I don't know. I have no idea. But this is the back of it, which honestly looks pretty good. I'm happy with it. I think it's really cool. I think I'm understanding the pattern. I don't really know. We'll find out. I got this much done in one day. Pretty happy about it.
You know the saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words? I feel the same about any sort of handmade item. The stories that are in and surround each item can only truly be known by the artist. I've heard of stories about how knitting helped people get through hard times. Some have frog projects to give that yarn a new story because the old one was too painful. Souvenir knits are the coolest concept. Buying yarn on a trip and creating something with that, every time remembering the adventure when you see it.
There's a creator on here called Soph Knits Daily, and she does travel vlogs while knitting, and she really dives into the culture and learns about the history of the knitting there, which is such a cool thing to do. There's more than one way to do things. There's different kinds of yarns and material and animals out there to make yarn out of. And so the thought and time that she puts into it is really impressive and is really inspiring to fully learn about the places that you're going. It is incredible. So it can be much more than just a souvenir. It can be a learning lesson. It could be a history lesson, really. And isn't that amazing? Just creating something so meaningful. It is just so cool, and I really appreciate the work that she puts into it. It gives more meaning to your clothes than just a certain style and aesthetic. There's so much history that goes along with it, and when you know the things that you're making and the story behind that, it is such a rewarding feeling, and you feel much cooler and connected to your wardrobe than just getting another sweater, because you're taking the time to learn about it and then make it yourself. I haven't touched my knitting for 2 weeks. Actually, I think it's over 2 weeks at this point. I am launching all of these products, and so I've been working really hard at that. And so I put knitting on hold because this is a bit more important. However, yesterday I started knitting the front panel, which is really exciting. I have the pocket done, which is crazy looking. So I'm gonna have to seam up the sides of this, but it's gonna sit flat like that. I'm gonna have to weave in all of these ends, which is gonna be super fun. But it's working up super quick, and I'm very happy with how it's turning out. And the pocket was a lot less intimidating than I thought. I just had to read it a few times to understand what was happening, and I think I got it. So I'll just have to finish working that up. It has been quite a few days since I've recorded any progress on my sweater. I've been really, really busy launching my latest collection, which should be out by now if you want to look at it. But let me show you where we're at. I finished the back panel completely, and then I finished one, I think it's the right side of the sweater. It has a pocket on it, which is crazy. I do still need to seam up the edges of it so that it is an actual pocket. But I wove in all of the ends on the back side, and same with this one. I did leave these kind of tails on the end because I wasn't sure if I needed them to sew up or if I could use them to sew up the edges and then not have to weave in more ends. So jury's still out on that one, but this is so exciting. It's coming together. Let me show you where we're at on the other side. I did this all yesterday. I am just about to split for the pocket. So you purl however many stitches, and then you purl again, and then you purl again, and then you purl again. So now I'm at the point where I need to cast off for the pocket, which creates the opening, and then you just work back and forth making the lining for it. I am a little confused on if I am doing the left side correctly, because when you follow the directions, so they have a pattern written out for the left and the right side, but the directions for the pocket are only for the right side, so I needed to like kind of flip it because I originally was just following the directions for the right side for the pocket section, and it was like lopsided. It wasn't an actual mirrored image. It was the same, so it wasn't right. So I had to rip that back and then redo so that it lined up with this cattail because that's the way it does on the right side. So this is a little before on all of the ends that you have to weave in. There's some solid progress here. I'm probably not going to work on it for a few more days until before my hand painted collection is launched because I really need to get that all like fully squared away and get the listings and everything set up. I have all the product photos taken and edited and uploaded. Just got to get descriptions going. So lots is happening these next few days. Very exciting. I'm putting in my 2 weeks at my job. It's been a long time coming, but it also feels like it's happening really fast. I'm really, really excited. I'm really, really excited for my future, but I am gonna miss my coworkers and learning to work on bikes and skis, and it is so much fun working with the people that I worked with and satisfying fixing people's gear. I've never shared this online, but I was a ski and bike tech, but I also worked retail. And yeah, it's time for a change. It's a big day. So I have some really annoying news. I made a pretty big mistake on my sweater. On the zipper band here, I forgot to do the garter stitch and I just did regular stockinette stitching along it, and I thought that maybe I didn't need to rip it out and redo it, but after looking at some photos, you definitely see this band and it would be so noticeable. So I have to rip it all out. I mean, it looks cool. I am going to rip up until this point because this is where the pocket is, and I didn't really know how to redo that part. So I think I'm going to drop some of these stitches and then do them correctly with a crochet hook. Hopefully, I did that on the other side a little bit and it seemed to work. So I think that's what I'm going to do because at least this is more manageable. If I tried to do that with all of this, the tension would be so off and it looks so weird. So we're just going to rip it out and redo it. It's fine. I'm interjecting again because I filmed a TikTok talking about how Mary Maxim has now used AI for their images on their website. I'm going to probably insert that here because I was raging about it and it's a little bit more concise in that video, I think, rather than me ranting about it on here.
I'm so mad right now. Mary Maxim and I have beef. So I made this sweater from one of her 1960s patterns, and one of which kind of went viral right now, the fox sweater from Project Hail Mary. And I went back and looked at the product photos for this sweater because I wanted to see how the collar laid. And what I found, originally there's only this photo from the catalog. It's black and white. There was some color on some of them too, and pretty basic photo. It's old, it's an old pattern. And what I found was a bunch of AI images that were put up, and they're not even right. So what I think they ended up doing is taking the old original photo of it and then putting it through AI and then generating some photos from it, which, one, the pattern isn't even correct. So you can see on this one that the bird has this weird line cut out to it, and I think it's because on the original photo there's a square of the front side of the pattern that's blocking that part, so the AI couldn't figure it out. Two, it makes it so unrealistic looking that the sweater will never look like that. It looks so soft and felted almost. I understand wanting to put clearer images for people to clearly see the pattern. I get it. However, it's not even the right pattern. You're telling me out of the 60 years that this pattern has existed, that there isn't a single photo or person who has made that sweater that you could have gotten a photo from, or had a backlog of these, like, somebody could have made it. Knitting is supposed to be a slow craft and handmade, and you're using AI for it. I think it's incredibly misleading because the sweater will never look like that. The pattern is wrong, and it's disrespectful to all the people who ever made one of your sweaters.
I'm mad. It's super annoying. Why are knitting companies using AI? It seemed pretty messed up to me. Huge news. I have 3 sections done of my sweater. So I have the back panel done. It's all finished. This is the right panel, and then the left panel that I just finished after having to rip it out. So I'm going to mattress stitch these together so that they are seamless. I'm really nervous because I am not sure this is going to fit. So we're going to do that. I'm really happy with how all of the edges are coming along. I'll go back and sew the pockets. And if you knit, I hope you're as impressed by this as I am. I wove in all of the ends on all of these panels. I left the edges because I'm not totally certain on how I want to do that. But there's no ends to weave in. Just have to weave these pockets together, so I left those for later.
This cardigan changed my life. Well, sort of. my life is completely different from when I started it versus when I finished it. I quit my job. It was incredibly draining. I made some really awesome friends, and I was there for 5 years. So this was actually a really big deal to me. I started a new one, doing something that I've never done before and had to learn everything new, which was really intimidating, going from a place where you're so comfortable and you know everything and you feel so confident in what you're doing, to being the new person who doesn't know anything and it keeps making mistakes. That is a really hard feeling to go through. But it's also a really exciting thing to learn something new, to meet new people, to see a completely different world, even within your own town. I'm on the south side of town now, and I've lived here for 5 years, and I've spent almost no time there. So it's so cool to even just drive around a different area of my town. I got my art in an actual store. I've sold items to friends and families and online, but never in an actual store. And that is like one of the coolest things. And people are buying it, which is even more insane. It means so much to me because I love my artwork and I want to share it so much. And so getting it out there and in front of people is such an accomplishment to me.
So I just got these little needle protectors, stitch holders, if I can open it. And it's little chickens. Are these not the cutest little things? I'm obsessed. Cute. I love these things. Very excited. All of this is stitched together. It is coming together. So we have basically the torso is all finished. I still need to do both of the arms and the collar. I started on the right sleeve here. So coming along. I think these are going to go pretty quickly. It is kind of crazy. You have to do increases on both sides as you go, and then you're going to do decreases again. Hopefully I can do it correctly. It's very intimidating. I don't know. But I did order a zipper for it, so that should be coming next week. And so I'm hoping that I can finish this in a week or so, maybe. Couple days on each sleeve, and then probably a couple days for the collar, and then I'll need to stitch it together. So probably 1 to 2 weeks, realistically, if I can actually work on it. So very exciting. I have so many updates for you. First off, I got a new tattoo. It is of a wood duck, and it's on my thigh, and it's matching with my pintail duck, which is on my other leg. So they're similar but different, and they look so cool. It took about 5-ish hours, and then the other one took a little bit longer than that, which I got a few weeks ago. So that set is complete, which I'm so excited about. And then I just got home from going to my favorite vintage shop, M&M Vintage in Whitehall, and let me show you what I found. First off is this 1960s robe nightgown situation. It is so pretty. The details on it are beautiful. It's from Vanity Fair, I think. It's just really light and cute, and I think it's just fun when I want to be a little bit more feminine and not wear a big sweatshirt or t-shirt to bed and just be cute around the house, you know? I also got a new record. It's from the Kingston Trio. I really only know Tom Dooley and Where Have All the Flowers Gone, but I mean, it's a vibe, so it's cool either way. I got an ashtray set. It's a 3-piece set. And my plan for these are to use them as like paint mixers or to hold water for my paintbrushes because they're a little old and I don't really want to eat out of these. I don't think so. That's what I'm going to do with them. Use them for my artwork because I think they're pretty and useful, and I'm excited about it. The last thing that I got is this Western button up, and I think it is the cutest thing. It is actually really well fitting and it's tailored very nicely. Normally, I wear very oversized things, as you can see, and so this is actually a little bit more form fitting. And it's not too tight that I like can't move or anything, but I think this is so pretty. The buttons on it, the pockets, and these are like actual real pockets too, which is cool. So I'm very excited about this. I have a huge knitting update. I have both of the sleeves done, and this looks crazy. So it fits like this. You can see it. It's got the cattails at the bottom and then the duck up here. It is kind of like crazy looking, so this is what it kind of looks like when it's stretched out. And then this one is just the mirrored image of it. And so for the chart for the left sleeve, you have to read it backwards because normally when you're knitting, you knit from right to left and then purling left to right on the chart. But if you want a mirrored image, you need to knit left to right and purl right to left. So I did a really good job on keeping track of that. There were a couple mistakes, but it really wasn't bad. And I even wove in all of the ends on the back side, so I don't have to do that. I left these long tails, like I mentioned earlier, in case I can use them to help seam it up. I think it's the move to weave in ends as you go because doing a million one of those at the end would be awful. It would be a terrible time. So I'm very excited. This is crazy. Now I need to figure out how to attach these things. I have no idea. Oh, I do also have bad news. I figured out that I made a mistake on how these pockets are supposed to be made. Apparently, you are not supposed to pick up these stitches here. This is supposed to be like a square that you knit fully separately, and then you pick up about right here, and then you would seam in this like square, this 3/4 of a square, and so then the pocket would be bigger, which makes a lot more sense because this pocket is really small, and I was kind of curious on why it was that way, but I couldn't figure out the issue. That's the issue, is I wasn't supposed to pick up the stitches along where I cast it off. So it's just going to be a little bit more bulky and a little bit smaller of a pocket. I'm not going back and changing it. It's just the way it is. And it's fine. So it'll be okay. I do need to seam up those pockets though and attach that, make the collar, and then I might need to get a different zipper because the one that I got I think is going to be too short and it's a little too white for my liking. So we'll see.
I met the love of my life after so many bad dates. It is the most incredible feeling, and I'm so happy to find somebody who is as amazing as he is and supports me in all that I do. And there's just so many things that I could talk about, but to keep it concise, I am incredibly happy and found my person, which is insane to say. I've learned so much about the construction of this cardigan. I had never done pockets. I'd never sewn in a zipper, completely seaming up the entire project. I've never done any of these things. So it was really cool to try and learn and make mistakes along the way for sure, but to feel more confident in my knitting, because I've really only been knitting for a couple months. And so it feels really good and I feel accomplished learning these techniques.
So I ended up seaming up the length of the sleeve first before I attached it. It just kind of made more sense to me on lining things up. I'm sure you could have attached the shoulders first and then done the length of the sleeve, but I think this made the most sense to me. In other news, I have a basically finished sweater. Well, cardigan. Is this not just the coolest thing ever? I'm so excited. I still need to block it and then sew in the zipper for it, but I figured I would block it first and then get a zipper because this is the zipper that I got, and it is a little too white, which I could tea stain it, I think. It is also a little too short, because this piece I think needs to be just a little bit longer. I am going to go to a new yarn shop that opened up last weekend, so I'm going to go there today and see if they happen to have any zippers, and if they don't, then I'll just reorder from the same place because it looks really nice and I like the feel of it. But let me try this on for you. So it is a little snugger than what I want it to be, so I will be stretching it out quite a bit when I block it, but this is what we're working with. This is crazy. I opted for the windbreaker collar because I just cannot get behind the shawl collar. It is too preppy for me. I wouldn't wear it, so we went with just the regular windbreaker, which I did have to rip out and redo because the way that it was worded, I wasn't sure if it needed to be decreased on each row on each end or decrease on one end at a time, So I was a bit confused. So it was about half of the size that it needed to be, of course. So ripped it out and redid it, and I'm so happy. I think the way that it's attached turned out really nice, and like the ribbing on it looks really good. Man, this thing is so cool.
This cardigan is more than just a super sweet pattern and a vintage knit. There was an incredible amount of transformation from the beginning to the end of this cardigan. And I can't wait to share this story with my kids, my grandkids, loved ones. It's not all just about the finished product, but the story that goes along with it.
The zipper is all sewn in. Look how good this looks. I had to hand sew it because I learned that if you did a machine stitch, there would be like a pretty heavy line down the front of it. So I had to learn to hand stitch it. But I think it turned out really well. You can, if you look like super duper close, you can kind of see the stitches, but we got a functional zipper. I'm going to show you something, and you need to be nice because this is my first ever zipper. But I used a back stitch, and this is what the stitches look like. They're certainly not very neat. This section doesn't look too bad, but who's looking at that? Really? Let me try this on for you. I got a zipper from a local shop called Show of Hands, and super nice. They got it in right away, and I love this thing. Is this not like the coolest thing you've ever seen? I am so happy with it. The fabric is nice and soft, and realistically, I'll probably leave it open or zip it halfway. Um, I love it. I love it so much. I want to share my final thoughts and modifications with this cardigan. I pretty much followed the pattern exactly, even the amount of ribbing. The only thing that I changed was the collar, which was technically still part of the pattern. I just decided to do the windbreaker collar instead of the shawl collar. It's just more my style, and I like it more. So maybe on my next one, I might try the shawl collar, but I don't know. I did make the pockets incorrectly, so they are a little short, but it's a lesson for next time. I didn't want to rip out this entire front panel just to redo the pockets. It's fine. It's okay. But I am super happy with how soft it is. So I used the Drops Alaska and Drops Alpaca Silk held together. And that was my first time ever holding two yarns together, and it worked out really well. And it's so soft. Like, I don't need to be wearing this underneath. I mean, it's cold right now, so yes, but I don't have to. My skin could totally handle it. So I'm so happy with how the back looks. I think this is like the coolest thing ever. And I was talking to my grandpa, and my grandma made a very similar looking sweater for him. So that's very sweet that we kind of have matching sweaters now. Um, it's just the coolest. I love it so much. Hopefully, you don't hear too much of the wind, but the birds are going crazy. I'm back in Minnesota right now at my parents' house, so it's really nice to be here. Yeah, the zipper was not as hard to install as I thought it was going to be, and it seems to be working very well. I don't know how often I'll actually wear it this way because I don't like how form-fitting it is. I think it's really cool. I would totally make another one of these sweaters. And what I kind of think what I might want to do is keep the same like base cardigan, but then change out the designs on it and kind of make my own cardigan out of it. I think that would be really cool. Then I don't have to come up with all the shaping and everything. Although I would probably do a larger size because I want it to be oversized. So, lesson learned. It wasn't as hard to seam up the arms as I thought it was going to be either. I started by seaming up from the cuff and going up and then attaching at the shoulder like you're supposed to. I mean, I think that's what you're supposed to be doing, and it worked out pretty swell for me. So I think that's what it was intended to be, but super happy with it. I love it. I love this thing, and I'm so excited to have it for literally my whole life. That's so cool. It's the coolest thing ever. Hopefully you enjoyed watching the process of this. It was kind of all over the place. It was definitely learn as you go sort of thing, and I'm so happy with it. Like it if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Oh my gosh. Okay, they're all falling. This is a mess. My mic wasn't on. Let's stitch these all together. Let's stitch. Wow. Can I speak? Let's stitch these together. Let's stitch these together.